my darlings, I hope you're doing very, very well. I hope you are sitting comfortably, you are cozy, and you have your snacks and your beverages at the ready. In today's video, we have an absolute wild one, okay? So I need you all to be seated for this one, okay? And if you're standing up at work, I do apologize, but just like, brace yourself for quite a crazy tattoo related story. A tattoo studio in Melbourne, Australia. I hope I'm saying that right. I think I am. I'm terrible at pronunciation, but I'm pretty sure it's Melbourne and not Melbourne, right? Okay. So yes, there's this tattoo studio in Melbourne, Australia that has gone completely and utterly viral because it has been under attack for a couple of months now, or quite a few months now actually. And at first, this tattoo studio thought it might just be a random situation, a random person kind of coming for their tattoo studio, but it turns out it is so much more darker than that, so much more sinister than that. So we are going to deep dive into this story. Okay, so this tattoo studio's name is Carrot Tattoo Studio. And I have just got to applaud them for that tattoo studio name. I don't think I've ever seen a tattoo studio named after a vegetable before, but I will give them massive credit for being the first tattoo studio I've seen named after a vegetable. So it says on their Instagram page that the Carrot Tattoo Studio is artist orientated, the most reviewed tattoo studio in Australia, which I highly believe, because if you take a look at their reviews on Google, they have so many. They have so many, and they haven't even been open that long. I think it's 2 years from memory. To have that many reviews within 2 years or at all is absolutely crazy. So again, I applaud them for that. They must be doing something right. Carrot Tattoo Studio has an array of tattoo artists who work there, and their quality of work is honestly pretty damn incredible. I can see why it is the most reviewed studio in Australia, because they do not disappoint when it comes to quality. They have work that would suit most tattoo collectors across the board, from black work to traditional, fine line, high detail, and a little bit of realism as well. Back in the tail end of September, Carrot Tattoo Studio posted up a Instagram reel with a caption that started off by saying that they are under continuous attack. This Instagram reel popped the hell off. I have been sent this Instagram reel so many times, I can't even count. I even had Tom come home from work one day and say, hey, have you seen this situation about the tattoo studio in Australia? And then he started telling me about it. I was like, yes, I've seen this. And I also had my sponsorship manager message me a link to this Instagram reel as well, and I'm pretty sure he has no tattoos. The only affiliation he has with tattoos is me. The fact that he helps me out with my sponsorships and my emails and stuff like that. So that pretty much just shows that this has gone further than the tattoo community. It has spread to your everyday person, which it's crazy to me. This is like Tattoo Gate, but like Australia. And it's a different story behind it as well, of course, but oh. So the rest of the caption says, we are offering $1,000 in cash or the same value in free tattoos to anyone who can identify the person in this footage. On the 25th of September at around 4:20 p.m, someone threw a full bottle of wine into our tattoo studio and then walked away. Now, I'm no wine drinker, but like, even this hurt me. I don't drink wine. I don't like wine, but to throw a full bottle of wine down some stairs for the fun of it, for the sake of it, to be hateful. What? Oh, God. As you can see in the footage, our studio is a space where over 20 clients and artists were present at any given hour for consultations and tattoo sessions. The bottle shattered into pieces and our clients could have been seriously injured, which I fully agree with. It may sound a little bit dramatic, but if that was to really shatter, I'm sure we've all seen glass shatter at some point in our life. Glass goes everywhere. It goes absolutely everywhere, and you are continuously finding it days after, even after you think you've cleaned it all up. I have dropped many glasses in my time. I'm very clumsy. I've also shattered stuff like pasta bottles. You know, have you ever dropped a pasta bottle that's made out of glass? Not pasta, the pasta sauce, sorry. But have you ever done something like that and the glass just goes everywhere and you're finding it forever and ever and ever? And like, again, this went down some stairs. That could have just exploded and gone everywhere. Like, this is incredibly dangerous. And for someone to do this, they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly the type of damage that they could have caused. And even still, the cleanup afterwards, like cleaning up all that wine and stuff, and the smell. Oh, the person that did this with bad intentions and to cause an absolute just inconvenience, and again to potentially maybe hurt someone. The caption then carries on saying, but this is not the only incident. Just this morning, right before the AFL grand final long weekend, someone glued shut the keyholes of our front and side doors. This is already the third time. The first was last year, right before the Easter holidays. These attacks are always timed just before long weekends when emergency locksmith fees are extremely expensive. We have already spent thousands of dollars this way, and on those mornings clients were left waiting outside because we couldn't open on time. So again, the person that is doing this is very, very calculated. They know exactly what they're doing just to cause a massive inconvenience to this tattoo studio. Also, imagine being a client, turning up to your appointment, and you have to wait outside for however long because you can't get into the studio. Like, I'd be more than understanding and I'd be trying to help in any way I can, but there is some people out there that aren't like that. There's gonna be clients that had plans later on in the day, like they only had a short tattoo appointment for like 2 hours and then maybe they're gonna go and see their friends for lunch or something. Like, it's just such an inconvenience to everyone, and it's also a big inconvenience to the tattoo artist because then they're gonna be running late that day, and then it's gonna have a knock-on effect to the clients coming in the afternoon. Like, just the person doing this is an absolute menace. The attacks have not only been physical, as many of you know, our Instagram account was suspended twice, a total of 2 months because of repeated false reports. Our solicitors had to appeal directly to Meta's headquarters to prove we had no grounds for suspension. This cost tens of thousands in legal fees, and during that period bookings dropped and our staff struggled. Thankfully we managed to recover, but it left a mark. And like, it's one thing, again, to, you know, physically attack a business or a tattoo studio, but to also try and harm them with the way that they get clients, because in this day and age, the majority of tattoo clients do come from social media. It's very rare that people discover tattoo studios just walking down the street. Like, those days are pretty much gone. Like, I think the last time people were doing that was, what, 2012? Obviously, there is a lot of people that do just randomly come across a tattoo studio and do get a fun little walk in, depending on the location. Places like Vegas and stuff like that, you know, tattoo studios thrive on that type of business. But for the most part, most clients do come from social media now. So again, it's one thing to attack a business physically, but then to like attack it social media wise, like, again, very, very calculated. Our studio is only 2.5 years old, yet we already conduct 20,000 to 30,000 tattoo sessions every single year. With nearly 6,000 Google reviews, we are the most reviewed tattoo studio in Australia, in fact the entire southern hemisphere, and currently ranked 9th in the world. Because we are busy and serve such large community, ongoing attacks like these are not just damaging to us as a business, but also put countless clients and staff at risk, which I highly agree with. We maintain a strong relationship with Victoria Police, and many officers are also our clients. While multiple investigations are ongoing, we've decided not to simply wait. We will try to resolve this ourselves with the help of our community and our followers. So of course, with this Instagram reel popping the hell off, it got so many views. It got shared so many times. The internet found the person in the CCTV footage very, very quickly. I don't think it took long at all. So Carrot Tattoo Studio did post a update comment on this Instagram reel that says, quick update, within 1 hour of posting the video, we received over 50 separate tips. Thanks to this overwhelming response, we've already identified the person. He's from another tattoo studio. All evidence will now be handed over to Victoria Police, and our legal team will be taking the matter further. We'll also keep sharing follow-up stories here so everyone can stay updated on the outcome. This was only possible thanks to the support and attention from all of you. And then they decided to do an absolute cheeky and was just like, okay, we're now going to name and shame him. And there is another comment on this Instagram reel. They said, update, it's Emmett Jace Tattoos, owner of Melbourne City Tattoo, and he sprayed our signage last night. Please check our new post. Thanks. So the newer post from Carrot Tattoo Studios has a carousel picture post. I don't know what you call them, but it's a post where there's a few pictures and you click along and there's more and more pictures. Does that make sense? I'm so old. Why can I not explain what an Instagram carousel is? Anyway, so what the caption to this says, as many of you already know, Melbourne City tattoo owner Emmett J's Tattoos showed up at our studio yesterday afternoon while more than 20 clients and artists were inside, threw a wine bottle and ran away. We have no prior relationship with this person. After we uploaded the CCTV footage to social media, within less than an hour, hundreds of people reached out confirming it was him. We are deeply disappointed not only in this business owner's actions, but in what it says about the tattoo industry as a whole. Is the fact that Carrot Tattoo Studio has the most Google reviews, around 6,000, of any tattoo shop in Australia, or even the entire Southern Hemisphere, really such a threat? Does that justify throwing a wine bottle that could have injured our clients and artists, spraying our sign, gluing our keyhole shut? Since opening 2.5 years ago, Carrot Tattoo Studio has never closed a single day. We operate 365 days a year from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I'm sorry, why are we open on Christmas Day? That's crazy. I've never had the desire to be tattooed on Christmas Day, but that's just me. I don't know. I guess that is actually very good for those that don't celebrate Christmas. You know, I'm sure there's many tattoo artists and tattoo clients that don't celebrate Christmas. So yeah, it could just be, you know, Christmas Day could be any old regular day to a few people, obviously. So I get it. I respect the grind and the hustle. Always striving to provide the best possible environment for our clients and artists. Is this really something worth attacking with bottles, spray paint and glue guns? And here's the real kicker, okay? The irony is we've even sent walk-in clients to Melbourne City Tattoo when we were too busy. We've openly shared our strategies whenever tattooists or other studio owners reached out for advice. Healthy competition grows industries. Do you think Toyota, Mazda, Honda and Mitsubishi built their reputations by attacking each other with weapons? How can a man over 40 act in such an immature, juvenile way? The police and our lawyers are handling this matter, but as the person responsible for protecting our staff and clients, I am absolutely furious. And I would be too. This is so disgustingly petty, so stupid. Like, what the hell is wrong with this man? Honestly, like, I just cannot comprehend this type of behavior. And if we just take a look, okay, if we take a look at this man spray painting the Carrot Tattoo Studio signage outside after he has obviously gone viral for his actions of throwing a wine bottle down some stairs and what have you. I mean, I'm sorry, but you fuck around and find out. If you're going to be a dickhead, you either stand by it or stop doing it. Or just be like, yep, that was me, I own up to it. I cannot stand a person who kicks up a fuss because they were found out, because people started talking about them, because people were discussing something that they have done. I hate it. Oh my God, I hate the lack of accountability from so many people. Just own up to it. And if you're not proud of it, then why the fuck are you doing it? I will only ever stand by everything I ever done. And you know what? If I have done something wrong and I find out that, yes, okay, what I have done is bad, I will just hold my hands up and be like, oh, whoops, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have said that. It frustrates me to no end when people cannot stand by what they've done or take accountability. Why is it so hard? So there's some comments I want to read on this post that says, this one is my favourite one, I just have to say, okay, men are so emotional. I mean, where is the lie? Where is the lie? Women are always branded as emotional, but then we've got this motherfucker acting like an absolute emotional child. Oof. And they say men aren't emotional. Little dude is literally having a crash out, which is so true. It's so true. Like, he cannot stand by his actions, so he's just gonna cause more damage. Yeah, that's completely normal, right? Like, another comment says, is he okay? Should he be tattooing? Hope his customers are safe. And I stand by this. It may seem a little bit extreme, but if he's willing to do all of these things to a tattoo business, is he a safe bet to be tattooed by? I personally wouldn't want to be tattooed by someone like this. Like, I just wouldn't. I would not want to support this man. I also wouldn't feel safe around this man at all. Someone else said, I hope you're suing, and they have every right to sue this man because he has caused them so much damage to you know, this tattoo studio and the fact that the Carrot Tattoo Studio has had to pay so much money in legal fees, repairing things. Now they've got to do a whole new signage as well, which is not cheap. He has caused such a big inconvenience to this tattoo studio and the artists working there as well. And then there's this comment that I just could not believe. I was just like, there's no way. All right. So the comment says he reposted it on his Insta too, that new Instagram feature. So he is proud of it. And I was just like, there is no freaking way. So I go and have a look on my phone because when I write notes for stuff, I do it all on my Mac and what have you. So on the Instagram web page, there is no repost option there. It's just not there on the web page, but it is obviously on the app. So I went on my phone and had a look to see, you know, Emmett's reposts. It's there. It's there. He reposted this post that we have just been reading. The absolute audacity to repost this, but like not really address it or take any accountability. It's a case of, look, that's me. What? You have to be kidding me with this right now. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I just, like, this story just gets wilder and wilder and wilder, I swear. Someone else said, he is a great tattooer and represent anyone who has been tattooing for at least over 10 years. I don't think so. Like, any decent tattoo artist wouldn't be behaving this way, you know, like that. It's just so immature and childish. Another person said, in his defense, his work is leaps and bounds beyond anything coming out of your studio. And there is 4 likes on this. And there is another comment that says his tattoos are great. Why would he feel the need to ruin everything he has over what I think is insecurity? I don't even know. Wow. And I will agree with these 2 people. I don't think his work is terrible. It just seems like traditional tattoos to me. Is it like the ultimate best traditional tattoos I've ever seen? No, but it's far, far away from the worst as well. I fully believe he has absolutely no reason to be acting like this. It's not like he's a terrible tattoo artist and the fact that Carrot Tattoo Studios has opened and has ruined his business because much, much better tattoo artists have come along and taken all of his business. It's not that. So why the hell is he acting like this? Well, I know the actual answer to this, but I'll leave you hanging for a little bit, okay? If we take a look at his tattoo studio as well, it seems to be doing well as well. It has 10,000 followers, you know, and I think it was doing okay before all of this. So after the news broke that Emmett was the culprit, of course his Instagram got flooded with comments. One person said, situation aside, really now, but my armless grandma couldn't do better than this. And then there's another comment that's kind of similar that says, maybe it's time to look for a new career. A middle schooler could do about as well as you, and they're just as juvenile as well. Another comment that says, that shit so arse, bro. And then another comment says, no wonder you have to attack artists that are obviously far superior to you. Yikes, that line work is awful. Another comment says, no wonder you felt the need to destroy someone else's shop. Your work compared to theirs, vile. And like, I completely understand as to why people are commenting stuff like this, because this tattoo artist is a pile of trash. He's a trash human being. But like, you can be a good artist and execute tattoos pretty well and be a terrible person at the same time. Like, you don't have to be doing all of this and saying your artwork is shit just to bring him down a peg or 2. Like, just come for his character, because again, in my opinion, this isn't to gas him up or anything like that, but in my opinion, he's a pretty decent tattoo artist. Like, again, you can be a decent artist and a terrible human at the same time. Another comment says, my fiance and I have got 2 tattoos from your studio when we've been in Melbourne. We love the quality and your artists were awesome, but it seems we'll be going to Carrot Studios from now on. Disappointing. And I also would feel like this. Like, if I found out a tattoo artist that I had been to was acting like this, I would be so disappointed. And then another comment says, good thing you're in Australia. Do that to a tattoo shop in America and I promise you they won't just throw bottles at you. Which is true. We're going to get into that in a moment about how it is like a very old school tradition or mentality within the tattoo world of attacking tattoo studios and stuff like that, like tattoo studios having rivalry and stuff. Like, it's a thing. And here are some comments from the Melbourne City Tattoo Instagram page. Again, Emmett owns this tattoo studio. Oh god, this one. I'ma glue your mama shut. Don't you try to silence it the first time. What? Another person said dog shit place and dog shit owner who is a little bitch. Another comment says, man found a way to fuck up his own business. This is hilarious. Another person said, I wish you all the best and that your shop never burns down or anything. Keep yourselves safe. And that isn't even like the darkest comment that I come across. I'm not gonna read all of them because some of them were so dark and very, very threatening. Someone else said, I hope you don't get flooded with fake appointment requests to your email. I bet that's happened and that would be such a freaking nightmare. Someone else says, I hope no one goes to Google and start leaving bad reviews. You can find this shop as Melbourne City Tattoo, which is something I never, ever, ever agree with. You 100% should not be leaving negative reviews if you have never been to the establishment. It's pointless, and it's also such a waste of time because Google normally does step in when a business all of a sudden gets a bunch of reviews, whether it is positive or negative, because they're just like, well, this business definitely hasn't, you know, hosted 1,000 tattoo clients within one day. Like, something suspicious is going on here. So it is pretty pointless to do such a thing. Another comment says, well, this all backfired for you, didn't it? I'd never heard of Carrot Tattoos, but now I follow them and I like their work. I'd never heard of you either, but I don't like your work and I hate you. All of this bullshit has for sure backfired on Emmett. Like, you fuck around and you find out. I don't understand what he was trying to gain from all of this. Like, yes, he inconvenienced tattoo artists. Yes, he's threatened tattoo artists and the tattoo studio as well. But, like, when you fuck around like that, you eventually get caught and then it comes back on you tenfold, right? Like, there was one very interesting comment on the first Instagram reel from Carrot Tattoo Studio that says, I am not all surprised. I won't name him here since you guys have already figured it out. But this doesn't shock me in the slightest. Bad dudes at that shop. So it seems that the Melbourne City Tattoo Studio may have a pretty bad reputation, which again isn't shocking considering the owner of the tattoo studio, Emmett, is just a big whiny man-child that can't handle a little bit of competition. So one thing that was discussed quite heavily across the two posts from the Carrot Tattoo Studio about Emmett's actions is the fact that there is, you know, two tattoo studios kind of close together. One comment says this feels like some kind of intimidation tactic from rival tattooists. And another comment says, you open a shop near a pre-existing tattoo shop. Looks like he's playing by old school rules. People used to get their shops burnt to the ground for that. So this is actually pretty true. It's not so much true now. It depends per location, to be honest with you. But there is very, very much this whole, you can't open another tattoo studio in a close proximity of another tattoo studio because it's just disrespectful. And this was very, very common back many, many years ago. Again, not so much now because tattoos have become so popular. There is multiple tattoo studios in towns, even small towns. Like, I live in a somewhat small town and there's, I don't know, like 7 tattoo studios, if not more, maybe over 10 with the private tattoo studios. But, you know, like 50 years ago, you could not get away with that. That would not be cool. But yeah, many years ago, you had to kind of ask permission to open a tattoo studio if there was already a tattoo studio close by or in the same town. You as a tattoo artist would have to go to that tattoo studio and kind of ask, hey, is it okay if I open up another tattoo studio and we can kind of work together? You know, if you are doing traditional and I'm doing realism, you know, if I get anyone that comes in that wants traditional, I'll send them your way. And if anyone comes in your studio that wants realism, send them my way. And you had to kind of collaborate and just be nice with each other and kind of play in the playground together nicely. If there was any kind of overstepping or just any kind of bitchiness, any kind of shadiness, honey, okay? That's not what they were calling it back then. If there was any activities like that, you were basically asking for your studio to be under attack in some way. Whether that is a rival tattoo studio, you know, spreading rumours, being like, oh, you don't want to go to that studio, I've heard the owner is a nasty piece of work. Or they'd make up rumours like, oh, you don't want to go to that studio, it's not clean. Or, oh, you don't want to go to that studio, I've heard some pretty bad allegations about the people that work there. And that was like them being polite, okay? There could have been physical attacks on your tattoo studio as well from, like this comment says, you could have had your studio burnt to the ground. There could have been arson, there could have been robberies, there could have been violence, there could have been paint thrown everywhere, tattoo stations, you know, destroyed because the rival tattoo studio has broken into your tattoo studio at 2 a.m. and fucked your studio up. But of course, this kind of behavior has definitely died down quite a lot with the rise of how popular tattoo studios are. A lot of tattoo artists, out of respect, still try and, you know, become mutual or friendly with tattoo studios in their town, because it's just a respect thing. It's just something that the tattoo industry is kind of built on. But as there is more and more tattoo artists coming into the world of tattooing now, and more tattoo studios are opening up, that kind of old school mentality is definitely erasing itself. You know, I don't think you'll see a bunch of 20-year-olds throwing their toys out of the pram because there is like 3 fine line tattoo studios in one town. Like, it's just not a thing at the moment. But as Emmett is allegedly in his 40s, he's definitely been around for a while, so he knows like the old school tattoo mentality, and he's definitely playing into that still. There was a few comments about how this old school mentality is pretty shitty. One person said a bunch of tattoo artists chiming in saying this is a thing, like a tradition not to open shops near each other. That's absolutely wild, and who wants to get a tattoo from someone who'd rather play turf wars? Like, isn't life hard enough without actively making life worse for the people you have most in common with? Another comment says, it's been amazing to see the amount of other tattoo shops that support this behavior. Vandalizing a business because they're too close to another shop. Grow up, I had no idea so many tattoo places were run by little crybabies. The offending shop has a story of a reel making fun of them vandalizing this shop. The comments are filled with many other tattoo accounts laughing absolutely disgusting. So I don't know the context of the last part of that comment, so I can't confirm or deny if that actually is a thing. But it wouldn't shock me. It really wouldn't shock me. But yeah, the whole old school mentality of you can't open up a tattoo studio because there's another tattoo studio close by, to me is kind of, it's kind of shitty. Especially in a city like Melbourne. There is like over 8 million people living in Melbourne. Like, there is plenty of people to go around when it comes to, you know, the tattoo studios that are close by. If this was in a tiny village, then you know what, maybe I'd understand the jealousy a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty pathetic in my opinion. There's a content creator by the name of Ed Choi who uploaded an Instagram reel discussing this situation, and he had some very, very juicy information that kind of answers as to why Emmett has been doing all of this. And of course, jealousy would be the main thing, but there is something else. There's always something else.
No, one of Emmett's employees, who also works at Melbourne City, clarified that apparently it's wrong to open up a business in close proximity to a, quote, real tattoo shop. And sure, they might be just around the corner from each other, but there's literally like 10 within a 3-block radius. This is them right there. But what's this next part? With people who can't legally work in Australia and haven't done real apprenticeships and don't pay tax. Oh, right, because Carrot Tattoo Studios is Asian owned and operated.
Yep. It's not just jealousy, it's racism. How many of you predicted that? I bet a lot of you, because wow, you know, grass is green. Like, we could have seen this coming from a mile off, right? Imagine doing all of this that Emmett has done because he's jealous of a successful Asian-run business as a grown adult in 2025. I mean, I'm so sorry, but that is so embarrassing. It's beyond embarrassing. Beyond embarrassing. You may have noticed that Emmett's art is very, very heavily inspired by Asian art.
All the while literally appropriating Asian art, especially in this piece.
So, like, what the fuck is happening here? How is Emmett going to take art from a culture he is so hateful against? Emmett has profited off of a art form that is a part of someone's life, of a business that he is trying to destroy. Emmett has also visited Asian countries too, because, you know, it's fun to visit these places by also hating the people that live there.
And sure does love to travel to Asia and go into sacred Asian places for inspiration.
It's just the audacity, the absolute fucking audacity. I feel so terribly bad for the Carrot Tattoo Studio owner. It takes a lot to open a tattoo studio and to run it and to make it so successful, because again, they've only been around for 2.5 years and they're doing so incredibly well. And this racist motherfucker, they can't deal with his emotions. He cannot handle the fact that there is a successful tattoo studio nearby who is run by an Asian person. Like, the jealousy is seething through him and he can't handle it. And instead of, you know, I don't know, going to therapy and talking about it with a therapist, he decided to take actions into his own hands and try to destroy this business. But Carrot Tattoo Studio, I have nothing but admiration for them, because they could have easily been like, yo, this is too much. We are going to move, or we are just going to shut up shop. What they've been through could make anybody want to quit, right? I certainly would be like, wow, okay, this is a lot. I don't know if I can carry on doing this. Like, someone is destroying something I've worked so freaking hard for, and I'm spending so much money trying to rectify all of this. Like, any person would probably want to put their hands up and be like, okay, I'm done, you win. But the Carrot Tattoo Studio was like, nope. Nah, not today, honey. We've worked too hard, built such a loyal clientele fan base. We can't let this go, and I admire them for that so freaking much. I'm not sure where I found this comment, but I have a random comment just at the bottom of my notes here that says, why do I feel like this is a setup from both studios just to get them more views? Like, I can't believe this Emmett J's tattoos would be stupid enough to not cover his face while doing that. I mean, I think he may have thought there was no CCTV around, maybe, or maybe he just didn't care. I don't think he cares. I really don't think he cares. And then someone replied saying, oh, please ping me if we end up finding out it's a marketing scam. Like, a bottle of wine made me fucking second guess this. I can totes see it. But then Carrot Tattoo Studio said, haha, please check our story. He's about to be arrested, and you can even call Victoria Police to confirm it, which I do fully believe that this is very legit. Like, I don't think anyone is desperate enough to get views by destroying their own business like this. Like, to glue their lock shut and then lose out on so much money repairing that, and then potentially losing clients, and then having Emmett spray paint their business sign. Like, that's just the actions of a very emotional man to me. I don't think this thing is fake to me personally. They were so successful before all of this anyway. Like, they wouldn't need to do all of this. To me personally, I'm more than happy to be like, whoa, okay, that's fucked up if it is fake, but I personally don't think it is. And if this is 100% real, which I think it is, I hope that the Carrot Tattoo Studio and the owner and the tattoo artist working there get some kind of justice, some kind of compensation for everything that they've been through. And I hope Emmett really does struggle. I really do. Like, I know it's maybe bad of me to wish that upon someone, but he wished it upon others. He did wish it upon others, so oh well, what goes around comes around, right? So yeah, I think Emmett and his tattoo studio will probably struggle, but I don't think it will also, because bad people attract bad people. So the people that want to get tattooed at Emmett's tattoo studio are those that, well, maybe don't use social media that much, or don't care about this kind of thing and want to support it, or, you know, are wrong uns themselves and just, you know, if birds of a feather flock together. That's one of my favourite sayings as of late. I truly hope the best for Carrot Tattoo Studio. Again, I don't think this is going to harm their business in any way. I think they're going to be thriving for a few months as this story just gets more and more viral, and as the whole situation plays out with, you know, maybe there's going to be a legal battle, there's going to be lawsuits, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens with Emmett, with, you know, potentially being arrested. Maybe he'll do jail time. I don't think it'll be a big hefty sentence by any means, but there'll definitely be some consequences to his actions, especially as there is footage evidence of it. So yeah, this whole thing is crazy. I will for sure keep you updated if there is any more information that does come out, especially over the next couple of months or so. Obviously with legal stuff and the police and stuff, it does take quite a while. So yeah, this might be an ongoing thing for a few months, if not years at this point. Like, you never know if Tattoo Gate is anything to go by, which is still going on. And yeah, that's it for today's video. I just want to say thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little while. I appreciate you all so much. And until my next video, stay safe, stay well, and until my next video, bye!